This is the Fisher-Price Computer Cool School, released in 2008. It was a whole trend for toy companies to make peripherals for computers in the early 2000s, and I have a huge soft spot for it. There's something about a big, chunky piece of plastic with a USB cable coming out of it that just does it for me. Considering the $60 price tag back in the day, it seems they spared no expense with the design. There's a full QWERTY keyboard, dedicated buttons for activities, and a writing tablet. The included CD-ROM has one game, which is Leo's Classroom, and if you want more games, they sold additional CD-ROMs for about $20 a pop. I only have one of them in my possession, and it's likely the most obscure official SpongeBob video game that has ever released. Although I only own 2 of the 11 games released for the Computer Cool School physically, thankfully all of them are preserved on archive.org. So I went out of my way to install and play every game on the platform on period accurate hardware. Welcome back to Planet Clue. Let's see if the Computer Cool School stands the test of time. When you first pop in the disk and install the software, it prompts you to set a parental control password to prevent your child from exiting the software and, say, formatting your hard drive. Can I type it on this? No, I can't. Okay. Gotta bust out the regular keyboard for this. Let's make the password spaghetti. Oh, it makes a sound every time I type a key. Alrighty, it's installed, so let's get this running. Ooh, that's bad. Okay, this keyboard is almost completely unusable. It uses cheap rubber domes that feel awful. It has a 1/4 second of latency. Yes, I measured it. And it uses a proprietary driver, so it only works when the Computer Cool School software is running. There is no way to use this as a standard mouse and keyboard. In Leo's Classroom, we're introduced to the mascot of Computer Cool School, Leo the Leopard, and a kindergarten classroom full of stuff for kids to enjoy. To start an activity, you have to press one of the 6 activity buttons on the device. Going from left to right, we have field trip, reading and writing, math, art, music, and science. And every game on the Computer Cool School fits that template of having 6 activities, 1 for each subject. Let's take a look at the field trip activity first. In Leo's Classroom, you and Leo hop on a bus and go visit a farm. It's a wide view that you can scroll, and when you click on the animals, they do a cute animation, like a point-and-click game. Perfectly acceptable for the 3 to 6-year-olds they're aiming at. For the reading and writing activity, you fill in the blanks for a simple alphabet game. And it has nice little animations for every letter of the alphabet. There's also the writing section where you practice writing letters on the tablet. The game doesn't verify the letter or evaluate you in any way, so you have to keep your own score. Also, the Computer Cool School comes with these alphabetical flashcards. You're supposed to slip the matching letter under this little cover, and then you can simply trace the letter visually. That's really cool, and I hope it helped some kids learn how to write letters. For the math activity, it gives you a math problem to solve, and you have to pick the train car with the correct answer. It's simple and functional enough, but I feel like they really aren't taking full advantage of the hardware here. Brain Age style written number recognition would be sick, but at the very least, I have an entire keyboard here. It has all the number keys. They could have just used those. Next up is my favorite, which is the art activity, but before we get to that, it's time for the ad. This video is sponsored by Fabletics! And this month really demonstrates the core of what Fabletics does best: premium fabrics, cozy winter comfort, and pieces that are versatile enough to make getting dressed a breeze. Everything feels soft, warm, and built to move, whether you're working out or just existing comfortably throughout the day. The fabric feels substantial without being heavy, it stretches without losing shape, and things like zip pockets and sweat-wicking material make these feel thoughtfully designed instead of just playing off of the athleisure trend. And there's big news! Right now, Fabletics officially partnered with Jamar Chase with their WR1 Meets the One collection. His first drop is live and it's sick. It's the same premium feel, the same versatility, just dialed in by the pros. If you're new, signing up as a VIP gets you an amazing intro offer, 70 to 80% off your first order. And as a new VIP offer, we got tees 3 for $19, shorts for $10, pants for $19, and everything 80% off for 5 items or less. And with this quality, you just can't afford to miss it. As a VIP, you can save up to 50% every day, get monthly drops, early access, VIP-only sales, all that good stuff, and the membership is flexible. You can skip any month between the 1st and the 5th with no charge. So click the link in the description to get 70 to 80% off your first order when you sign up for VIP, and make sure to check out the Jamar Chase drop while it's live. Thank you to Fabletics for sponsoring this video, and now on with the show. Never in my entire life have I seen a kid's tablet that is this responsive. Look at it. Like, look at the camera versus the screen. That is insane. Okay, as this is starting to go on, I'm starting to like it less and less because I'm recognizing just the sheer amount of judder that is going on. My lines keep jumping all over the dang place when I'm trying to frickin' draw. What does the stamp button do? Pirate flag. Put it in their brain. Oh, I can't. I really can't put it here. That would be perfect, but I can't because there's a clip in the way. Okay, what if I put it right there? Okay, good enough. Oh my god, it's Leo. I'll put Leo right here. No, please don't erase me. Ah! What do you mean? Why did the line do that? I can't undo. I was just trying to draw a square and it made that line go over there. Okay, I think I want to move on from this. This is frustrating me too much. Next up is the music activity. You can pick an instrument and use the keyboard to play the notes of that instrument. But the keyboard is buffered and has a lot of latency, so it's pretty annoying trying to get the notes to play on rhythm. There's also another side to the music activity. You can play a song and toggle the instruments on and off individually. It's a pretty cool way to illustrate to kids what role each instrument plays in a piece of music. Last and least is the science activity. It's essentially the same thing as the field trip. There are 5 different biomes to choose from, and you can click on the animals to learn a fact about them.
A jaguar is a type of cat that likes to swim.
It's fine, it's just a little underwhelming. All right, that's it for Leo's classroom. Let's take a look at SpongeBob. They got Tom Kenny to do the voice, and he does a great job as always.
Oh, don't you just love the first day of school?
Sorry, wait, is this gonna be the same exact thing again, but with a SpongeBob skin on it? To answer my own question, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. The field trip is almost exactly the same as Leo's classroom, but there are some pretty decent mini games in here. There's one where you catch jellyfish and one where you practice typing. Those are both pretty good. But for this game, they greatly expanded the reading and writing section, which is awesome. They wrote a full story called SpongeBob's Birthday, and it reads it out to you, and Tom Kenny does the voice, and every page has a dedicated animation. It's very well done.
Squidward yells.
Squidward yell? And then it does a little quiz at the end. The whole thing was really well done. I was very impressed. For the math activity, SpongeBob has to catch the correct kind of coin in his bag, and then they change the kind of coin that you need, and you have to catch that one instead. It's pretty good. And now for the art activity. Let's take a look. Okay, is this hardware getting worse as I use it more? Look how much judder there is just from me staying still. All right, and there's his little legs, and there's Doodle Bob. It was actually very hard to draw this in the software. Me hi. Ah! We had to do it. It was a canon event. The music activity is identical, just with different instruments. Also, I discovered that this keyboard has like 6 key rollover, and if you go past that, like if you mash like 8 keys at a time, it takes you to the field trip activity. I no idea why. It is so easily recreatable that I'm shocked they didn't patch this out before release. The science activity is pretty fun. You got Patrick snoozing on one end of a scale, and you have to pick an object and guess if it will be heavier or lighter than Patrick, and whether it will sink or float. I feel like kids would like this one. It's got a lot of design work put into it. I respect it. Alrighty, let's take a look at Clifford's classroom, the Clifford the Big Red Dog game. For the field trip, they go to the beach, and you can click on stuff on the beach. It's the same as all the others. For the reading and writing activity, it is also expanded. They wrote an entire story for it. And for writing, instead of just letters and numbers, you can practice symbols, which is really cool. For the math activity, you move Clifford left and right with the stylus, and you have to catch the specified striped pattern of ball. The art activity is identical, just with different backgrounds and stamps. The music activity is also exactly identical, but with different instruments. The science activity is pretty good. You're given a certain season, and you have to pick appropriate clothing to wear in that climate. It's a great idea, and it's implemented very well. Alrighty, next game. It's time for Dora and Diego's classroom. Starting off with the field trip activity, you go to the dinosaur museum, and you can click on dinosaur skeletons, and it shows you what they would have looked like. And they did some nice animation to pair with it as well. For the reading and writing activity, again, the storybook is expanded compared to Leo's classroom, and the writing section is identical. And again, the art activity is identical, just with different stamps and backgrounds. Music activity is the same, just with different instruments. The science activity is very good. It gives you the outline of an animal, then you have to aim your camera all around to find that animal and then take the photo. And after you take the photo, it gives you some facts about that animal. I feel like they always put the most effort into the science activity. Not sure why, but they're always really good. Alrighty, next game. It's time for Hao Kai-Lan's classroom. I don't know anything about Hao Kai-Lan. I was a little too old for it when it came out. The field trip is pretty much the same, but there's a really fun keyboard game where you build a bridge for ants. That's a very strange sentence. For the reading and writing activity, we have a storybook as per usual, but the writing section teaches you how to write in Chinese. It's so cool. I looked it up, and Hao Kai-Lan is like a parallel to Dora the Explorer. Dora teaches you Spanish, and Hao teaches you Chinese. This idea fits like a glove. It's so perfect. The math activity also embraces the Chinese language learning theme. You have to build a car by clicking on the Chinese numbered parts in the correct order. And then once the car is built, you have to tap keys repetitively to roll down the hill. You know, I wasn't expecting to learn some Chinese today, but hey, I'll take it. Why not? And again, the art activity is identical, just with different stamps and backgrounds. Can you tell that I copy-pasted the VO from earlier? The music activity is actually a little different this time. They don't do the individual instruments thing. They just have the game where you can turn the tracks on or off, but each track is a character, kind of like Incredibox. But they totally dropped the ball with the science activity this time. You click on animals in Kai-Lan's backyard, and it tells you a fact about that animal. It's not bad, it's just really generic. Like, teach me the names of animals in Chinese. That would be really cool. Alrighty, next game. It's time time for Scooby-Doo's classroom. I love Scooby-Doo. They picked the most iconic Scooby-Doo setting ever for the field trip activity, a haunted amusement park. And you click on doors to reveal goofy monsters. Oh, it's so good. And the mini games are based on carnival games. It works great. I can already tell that they fully committed to the theme.
Zoinks! That sure is one spooky-looking storybook.
For reading and writing, we have a fantastic animated storybook about the haunted amusement park, and you can practice writing short words. The math activity is pretty good. You can use the stylus to move Shaggy and Scooby left and right, and you have to collect the next number in the sequence. And again, the art activity is identical, just with different stamps and backgrounds. The music activity is nutso this time around. When you click on an instrument, you're cueing that instrument to play on that little line down there. But if you mash the stylus, you can make a ton of lines appear, and it gets really chaotic and loud, and I like that apparently. The science activity is great in this one. You have to spot the difference to find clues, and then use those clues to determine which monster was the one that did the crimes. It's a process of elimination. I ended up getting super invested in it. It's fun, and it fits Scooby-Doo beautifully. I'm biased because I love Scooby-Doo, but I'd say this is the best game on the platform. Alrighty, next game. This time around, it's the Sesame Street classroom. The field trip is decent this time around. It's got some typing mini games and a mini game where you have to match the pattern. Unsurprisingly, they're aiming a little younger for the Sesame Street game. For reading and writing, the storybook isn't a story as much as it is demonstrations of letters, much like Leo's classroom. And there's actually no way to practice writing in this game. Maybe they felt it would be too complicated for toddlers, so they just went without it. The math activity is pretty good. You roll out a pizza dough, and you have to count out how many of each topping to put on the pizza. It's a little tedious because every time you click, you have to wait for a cutscene to play before you can click again, but it's not so bad. And again, the art activity is identical, just with different stamps and backgrounds. Music activity is the same, just with different instruments. The science activity is interesting. It teaches you how frogs grow and how to grow tomatoes by burying seeds and watering them. It's pretty nice. Next game, we've got the DC Super Friends classroom. The field trip's pretty good. You go to Gotham City and do some rescue operations. It's all right. For reading and writing, we have a Batman-themed story, and the writing is themed around the Riddler. Well done. For the math activity, you drive around this little car, and you have to navigate the car using the on-screen arrows to get the robot that has the correct number in the sequence. So the art activity is actually different this time around. They removed the clip. The clip is gone, everybody! Aside from that, background and stamps are different. Everything else is the same. The music activity is really weird this time around because all of the instruments are not instruments, but instead randomly pitched sound effects, like a wrench dinging and stuff like that. So as a result, it just kind of doesn't sound that good. And the science activity is an exact copy of the Scooby-Doo one. You have to find the clues in the city and then deduce which robot is the one that did it. So instead of monsters, it's robots. That's the only difference. Alrighty, next game, and this one's a bit of a curveball. It's Leo and the Dinosaurs, another Leo game. For the field trip, you go to a dinosaur dig site, and there's a cool matching game there. Perfectly fine. For reading and writing, we have a very dense storybook about Leo adventuring to find dinosaur bones, and the writing is exactly the same as the original Leo's classroom. The math activity is super underwhelming. It's a vaguely dinosaur-themed math problem click answer. I feel like they could have tried a little harder on this one. The art activity's the same, so I made a Leo stack. The music activity is basically the same, but it is cool to see a more worldly selection of instruments. For an exploration and adventure themed game, that's pretty cool. Dude, the science activity is so cool. You can time travel to different periods and then pick from a selection of dinosaur stamps to see what dinosaurs lived in those time periods. I feel like I would have liked this as a kid. All right, next game, we got Super Y, another show I was a little too old for when it came out, so I don't know anything about it. The field trip activity is the absolute baseline. You click on stuff in the backyard, and there's a 3-letter word building minigame thing.
P-O-T. Pot.
For reading, you have a Mad Libs-like Goldilocks story, and writing is business as usual, baby. The math game is basically the same as the Scooby-Doo one, the difference being that instead of it being the next number in the sequence, you're solving the math problem with what you collect. Basically the same, but a little different. The art activity is basically the same, the difference being that there are some fill-in-the-blank backgrounds, so I wrote some funny stuff. Haha. Sonic crapped in there. The music activity is totally different. You have to build rhymes using like fill-in-the-blank selections. It's really cool. And you can tap little notes on the keyboard to play along with it. It's really cute. And the science activity teaches you how to sort your recyclables. That's a great idea. You have to pick up the stuff off the floor and pick which bin it goes in. I feel like this would have definitely helped kids to understand what goes where. Next game, and the last that I have for you today, is the Wonder Pets classroom. I actually do remember watching a little bit of Wonder Pets, but I've retained none of the actual content of the show because it came out 20 years ago. I'm sorry to anyone that has has nostalgia for this because you old now. You old! The field trip activity is nothing special. You're just roaming around and clicking on stuff as usual. The storybook is the status quo. It's about on par with Dora the Explorer. The writing activity is also the status quo. The math activity is fine. You move the characters up and down and you have to collect the next number in the sequence. The art activity is the same, just with different backgrounds and stamps. The music activity is a little more interesting because they added a bunch of nature sounds into it, so that's pretty neat. The science activity is very good. You have to guess an animal based on hints that you're given.
The animal I'm thinking of lives on land and has whiskers. Yeah, the kitten.
The Computer Cool School is just a really neat gadget all around. It has so many bells and whistles. I wish they didn't copy their own homework so much with so many of the games, but it was still interesting enough to dedicate an entire video to. My biggest issue is that the keyboard was barely ever used. I was hoping for some typing games, like a few mini games would use the keyboard, but I feel like they didn't get much mileage from it. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Thank you to everyone on Patreon. Thank you to everyone that sent stuff to the P.O. Box. I will be opening them on camera next time around. Much love to all of you, and I'll see you again real soon.